Good evening, good evening, good evening. Welcome back to Surreal Sundays. I hope your week was prosperous. Everything that you needed to happen happened for you in your favor. Hope that your weekend has served you well, and you and your family are enjoying your weekend and what have you. Tonight, the title is "Schools Are a No Safe Zone." So we got a couple of articles or videos about a charter school where a teacher and a principal were charged in kids being SA'd. Okay, sad case. And then we have another story about a school um, going on. Let's see, they have it was 20 workers charged in that situation. 20 workers charged for abuse, okay, physical abuse, okay, and this was a school for special need children, okay, and got an update on Claudia Batten, the lady who took out her husband's mistress over in New York, okay. And if we got time, I want to go into an article about a janitor infecting people with the simplex by way of. I was trying to find. I'm just now trying to find a political or a YouTube friendly word for it, but I'm just gonna say it because I can't find it right now. He urinated in the people that worked there. He urinated in their bottles, and by doing so, he passed the H simplex to them. Okay, so we got time. We're gonna go into that. We got the hot video, and let's see what else we got going on. We got we're not gonna have whiskey review. I'm changing the title of that from whiskey of the week to this week's whiskey review. And but that's not showing tonight. Tonight we're gonna show a new segment. I'm gonna call it Tidbits in Health. Okay. So I got something to go over in tidbits of health. All right. So with that in play, without further ado, let me just get this stuff situated here. Without further ado, without further ado, let's get it.
You are now listening to some old school shit.
Yeah. Yes, sir. Welcome back, welcome back, welcome back. All right. Let me get this music thing going here. One moment, folks. Got to have my tunes. Got to have my tunes. Let's see here. All right, we got that going without too much of an issue. We're gonna head right over into the video scene. I want to make sure everything is doing what it's supposed to do before we do that. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and get into that. This is about the charter school. I believe this was a charter school. Yeah, it was a charter school. A teacher and a principal get charged with SAN children. All right.
First up, very disturbing story out of Irmo. A local teacher and principal have been arrested stemming from accusations of criminal sexual conduct with students. Just about an hour ago, News 19 learned that Irmo officers had arrested a teacher and principal of the Green Charter Middle School of the Midlands. Now, according to Irmo police, the teacher is 32-year-old Suleiman Benoit, and he is charged with 8 counts of criminal sexual conduct. Benoit is accused of fondling 3 students who range in the age from 7 to 12 years old. Meanwhile, the principal of that school, 41-year-old Tina Shaw, is charged with failure to report child abuse in connection to the charges against Benoit. Shaw also faces 2 counts of second-degree assault and battery related to improper searches conducted on 2 students. Now, a statement, Irmo Police Chief Bobby Dale said schools are a place for our children to be safe and protected and not preyed upon. He went on to say that his office learned about allegations from parents after the principal had been informed of the allegations. Now, right now, police say they do believe there could be more victims out there. He was an employee, Benoit was an employee of the school for 2 years, so they say speak to your children, speak to the students. If you have information that needs to be shared, you can contact the police. That specific number is on your screen. It's 803-781-8008. Both Benoit and Shaw are set to have a bond hearing at 2 o'clock today. News 19 will be there at that bond hearing and let you know coming up tonight at 5, 6, and 7 what happens. First up.
All right, so teacher was doing searches and what have you, and taking that opportunity to feel more than what he supposed to feel on and things of that nature. There was several complaints that were submitted, and the principal did not act upon them. Let me see if I can find something else on this right quick. So let's check this news out right here.
We begin with breaking news out of Irmo. The Irmo police chief holding a news conference about an hour ago, and we now know Irmo teacher Suleiman Benoit is being charged with abusing students. Meanwhile, the principal, Tina Shaw, is accused of covering it all up.
Yeah, this all just came out early this morning, and again, like Erica said, the Irmo police chief just held a press conference at 2 o'clock saying that these 2 were employed by Green Charter School of the Midlands and are both facing several charges. Now, we want to show you a picture of Benoit, who was the director of the after schools program. But today, the police chief said they believe he has other victims out there. Now, he is
Now, this doesn't have too much substance to most of the world of what I'm about to say, but this individual looks like he carries a lot of fruit in his basket. And it is typical of people who carry a lot of fruit in their basket that they involve themselves in this type of behavior. Okay, they either they either are victims of child SA. More so the case that's what's going on. That's where it originates from, and then they put that demon, they perpetuate that demon onto their victims and what have you, as older children, teenagers, and as adults and what have you. So whoever's around them that they have access to and what have you. But this individual most definitely looks like he has a lot of fruit in his basket. Let's continue on with the story.
Accused of fondling several students between the ages of 7 and 12. He's charged with 8 counts right now of criminal sexual conduct. Meanwhile, Shaw is charged with failing to report child abuse on 2 counts of assault and battery because it is required. She is what they call a mandated reporter in our state.
We began an investigation, and while doing so, learned Benoit had inappropriately touched numerous children on different dates during the school year. The investigation determined that the principal of the school, Tina Shaw, was made aware of this allegation. Ms. Shaw is a mandated reporter per South Carolina state law. Ms. Shaw failed to report this incident to law enforcement.
Well, just a few hours ago, both suspects appeared in bond court.
News 19's Walker Lawsterman's inside that courtroom, and he is getting us all the details. Walker, what do you know this Wednesday night?
Well, Erica and Andrea, Ms. Shaw and the teacher, or the principal and the teacher, were both in bond court earlier today. Now, Tina Shaw, who is charged with failure to report child abuse, has bond at $50,000. She also cannot return to the school or contact any of the victims' families.
Benoit is accused of fondling 3 students, ranging in age from 7 to 12 years old. He was given bond at $75,000 with similar stipulations as Shaw, not returning to the school or making contact with victims. He also has to wear an ankle monitor. Ms. Shaw's attorney argued she was on her way to her attorney's office to turn herself in when she was arrested. The Irmo Police Department spokesperson in court said she prevented teachers from coming forward.
There's been some discussion regarding the defendant possibly intimidating other teachers at the school, thus keeping them from coming forward sooner.
The Irmo Police.
One moment. That's absolutely outrageous. The principal prevented the other teachers from making more of this. And I'm wondering, why was she protecting Benoit so tough? What's the backstory behind that? This dude currently he's charged with 3 accounts. So three victims have came up. And I don't believe that that's going to be the final number on what have you. Hopefully that is. And what have you. And for the principal to be a vanguard to this dude, what entrance did she have that was so invested where she felt the need to protect this dude at such a level? So this is another story that we're going to follow. We're going to keep track of and what have you, and bring you the updates as they come out. In Irma, South Carolina, or Irma, South Carolina. So let's get back to the story.
Police Department says victims are still coming forward.
At this time, victims are still coming forward. This is a very fluid case. And since the time of arrest this morning, there's been 2 additional victims that have come forward.
Benoit's attorney says he was put on administrative leave on February 6th and has not had a job since.
All right, now I did speak to a parent earlier today who reached out to me who said that they went and picked up their kid from school along with many other parents. They said they are now looking for another school for their child to go to. Coming up at 6, we'll have more from this press conference.
All right, Walker, thank you so much. And for more details on this story and more from Chief Dale's press conference earlier today, you can go to WLTX Plus and WLTX.com.
We begin with...
All right, so let's go to the chat. Let's see what's going on in the chat. Let's see here. Let's see what we got. We got Mrs. O in the house. Mrs. O is in the house. And Mrs. O says, because I asked the question, you know, because I'm real curious on why she's so invested in protecting this individual. And Mrs. O says, that's probably her man. Probably her man, but I don't know, because you know, he look like he carries a lot of fruit in his basket. I'm suspecting that he's a family member in some form or fashion. He's kin to her. That's my take on it. That's my take on it. That's my take on it. Let's see what else we got. We got Mrs. O says, it's best to homeschool our children. And ultimately, with the 2 stories that I got on having our children in a school, in a traditional school environment, one that we know of and are accustomed to, is, you know, what can be the alternative? But before we get into what might be the alternative, let's get into the next story. Let's get into the next story. This is about 20 school workers charged in a child abuse case. All right.
I do want to go out to a story that we have just been brought to our attention with this feed about the last 10 minutes ago. We want to bring this to you here out of Pennsylvania. We are learning that 20 school workers have been charged with abuse, and they are alleged to be doing issues here with abuse as far as physical harm and also mental harm as well. So let's listen in on Live Now from Fox.
Here today, as you all know, we charged earlier today 20 individuals who worked at the Chester Community Charter School with child abuse. 9 of the individuals actually, according to the surveillance videos we've reviewed, actually laid their hands on children and abused them physically. 11 other individuals who are sort of different roles in the school turned their backs and looked the other way, or in fact, oftentimes looked right at the abuse happening and failed to report it. So they are charged with failure to report. All of these employees, all 20 people, have a duty under Pennsylvania law to report instances of child abuse. They are mandated to report that by law. So by not reporting it, they violated the law. We've also charged those 11 individuals who witnessed this without doing anything with endangering the welfare of those children. But there are 9 individuals who we have surveillance videos that I've watched of them putting their hands on these children, some as young as 5. It's their K to 5 years grades, And these are children who are in the emotional support program. And so in the surveillance videos, you can see them doing pressure point holds on the child's shoulder, causing them pain. You can see them grabbing their hands and putting them in front of them to restrain them. And oftentimes you can see them then using their knee to take the child to the ground. And at least one incident I saw them jack a kid up against the wall. This is just unacceptable behavior to happen anywhere, but particularly in a school setting for children who are supposed to be getting emotional support. So we are thankful that the Chester Township Police, as soon as this came to light, Officer Strofe and Detective Mullen, working with our office, my Deputy District Attorney, Kristen Kemp, have investigated this matter. It's still an ongoing investigation, but we've charged these individuals and we're moving forward, and I assume you all might have some questions.
Can you talk about the emotional support program, first of all, so we understand that these kids are supposed to be getting help with their emotions and they're getting attacked in the class?
Exactly right. I mean, my understanding is these are children who it's been identified that they need more help at that age, at a very tender age, K to 5 grades we're talking about here. And so these people are supposed to be giving them extra support as they're trying to learn in school. And instead, oftentimes, they're just either intimidating them physically and then laying hands on them. It's very disturbing to see the surveillance videos.
Jack, could you tell us the relationship between the contractor and the school and who was involved there, and are they just as culpable as the school or vice versa?
My understanding, and again, this is a continuing investigation, is that most of these, if not all of these employees, I don't think all of them, but most of them were contracted through this organization, Peak Performance. Thank you. They're supposed to be keeping records, they're supposed to be training, and they've told the school that they were doing all of that. The law enforcement investigation is finding that out to not be true, that they haven't trained these people in the proper way to restrain a child, if you have to restrain a child. And the school is under an obligation, I think you see it in the complaint, that if a child is restrained at any time, that has to be reported by the state. So I think there are some issues here for both the school and certainly for this company that was providing some of these employees, because the school wasn't looking at their own surveillance video.
Jack, the affidavit describes this as systemic. It wasn't sporadic, it wasn't incidental. This was something that was known about, that people ignored or participated in. Is your office investigating the rest of that school just to make sure that this isn't taking place anywhere else?
Yeah, great question. So we are, as I've mentioned, Alex, it's a continuing investigation. If you see from the complaint, most of the incidents that we've charged happened between November and December of last year. We're still looking at video. So there will be more work being done by these great officers from Chester Township who picked up the cudgel when we first got complaints in the door. They have been investigating this nonstop. But Chief Colson, who I spoke to this morning, is absolutely committed to continuing the investigation, and if there are more charges warranted, we're going to bring them.
Do you think that there are more victims out there, and if so, what's your message to these parents in this day?
I can't tell you how many more people. I mean, 26 children have been identified as people who are victims already. We also know that some young people witnessed these things happening and may not have been actually victimized themselves. That's another form of victimization. I think, again, to Alex's point, this is a systemic problem in this school where these kids in this program were living in fear, a lot of them. So if there are more victims, we would love for their parents to come forward. It probably took a lot of courage for these young children to tell their parents what was happening in school and why they were afraid to go back to school. But as we're interviewing these children, we're getting the stories. And if there are more people and more children who want to come forward, we are here for them, as are the Chester Township Police.
Have the victims' families seen these videos, and just your thought as a human being watching these?
Yeah, I don't think that they've seen the videos. As a parent, I'm really disturbed. To think that when you send your child to school, that somebody who is being paid to take care of your child is actually hurting them is just frightening. But just as a human being, it's awful to watch these grown people the way they're treating these young kids. And you can just imagine what this is going to be like for those children going forward. This is just not the way we're supposed to treat young people, particularly in a school setting. It's been a complete failure. And I'm outraged by it. Talking again to Chief Colson this morning, he hasn't seen anything like this either for a long time in his career. And so that's why we want to make sure that we brought the charges as quickly as possible, but also to continue the investigation to make sure that we've stopped it.
And Jackie, 20 individuals, 26 students. Have you seen a case like this where this many people are involved?
Not like this. And again, one of the more disturbing things is how there are people sitting there watching it happen. You know, sitting in the teacher's desk watching these kids get abused. And the surveillance video doesn't have audio, but you can see from most of these attacks, these children are just sitting there. And an adult comes over and starts pinching their shoulder till they're writhing in pain, and then putting them in restraints, and then picking them up. Meanwhile, there's an adult just sitting there watching it all happen. I'm as outraged by that as you can imagine, right? Both the fact that somebody is physically assaulting these kids, but also educators, people who are working in the school, just allowing it to happen, systemic. Look the other way.
How long was the school operating with this company? How many years?
Don't know. You have to ask the school.
So with the 20 people, have they said anything? What kind of charges, what kind of time are they facing? Have they given any explanation for what?
Well, they're all, dealing with lawyers at this point and turning themselves into the police. I think 3 defendants have already turned themselves in today. They're all facing felony counts at this point. Some of them, a lot of them. Harris, Daniels, those defendants who actually touched those children time and time again, they are on all of these videos over and over again. And again, this is a continuing investigation, John, so there may be more charges coming. But they're going to have their day in court. Right now, these are charges, allegations, and we're prepared to move forward and prosecute them fully.
For the parents of remaining students there, how confident are you that this abuse has stopped? What would you tell them?
What I can tell them is all we can do in law enforcement is stop what we've seen and what we've learned and what we've uncovered thus far. We're going to continue the investigation, and if there are more incidents, if people want to come forward and help us with that, we are open for that business. But we're also just going to do what we do in law enforcement. We're going to just continue to investigate this until we don't have any more bad actors to hold accountable.
And this was just a 7-year-old who said...
Didn't want to go to school anymore. Didn't want to go to school anymore, John, because he was afraid to go to school. When a small child is telling you, you're his parent, that they're afraid to go back to school because they're afraid of what the teachers are doing with them, that is just a parent's worst nightmare. So I'm thankful those young people did that. I'm thankful their parents listened. And I'm thankful that the law enforcement, the Chester Township Police Department, jumped on this immediately, contacted our office, and we've done the work we've done. None of these people right now, these 20 people, are teaching children today. That's a victory for people who go to that school.
We know the spokesperson for the school said that all of the parents of these children had decided to keep their kids in the school. Do you know if that's accurate?
I have no idea.
Okay.
We know that the school says they conducted their own internal investigation. Did the school reach out to Chester Township Police?
Not to my knowledge. But the Chester Township Police did get cooperation from school officials. There's also child line reports that need to be made. So as soon as we knew something, and I'm not sure what the order was, whether or not the school knew first, but as soon as we knew something, Chester Township Police were on this that day.
Are they getting continued?
Pardon me?
Are they getting continued support from the schools? Is the school still cooperating at this time?
To my knowledge, they are, but again, it's a continuing investigation. What we've done, focused on this past weekend, was making sure that we got these people charged.
How far back are you looking at getting surveillance video here?
Well, at this point, the Chester Township Police have been able to look at a couple of months' worth of video. I think that they're trying to get more of that, but again, continuing investigation. Our mission right now was to hold these people accountable and make sure that they're not teaching children today.
Just to make sure, was this one classroom that kids from K, or they each grade had a classroom of this type of?
My understanding is there was a couple of classrooms where this program was being run in. And yeah, I think you see from the complaint that they're mentioned in there, classroom A, and then another with a different name to it. I forget the second classroom's name. But I think kids filter through those classrooms during the course of the day.
Do you know if this company is working with any other schools?
I don't, not at this point.
It seems like the workload's going to be pretty big in terms of all of those teachers. Because anybody who saw anything and didn't say anything, everybody in the school now, it seems like a pretty huge project.
Well, what we've seen from the videos that
no real oversight, no real checks and balances. So this school outsourced to another company to teach these children, to be around these children, and no proof of background checks or proof of training, anything that will help filter out some of this. And we know that, we just looked over at a case where over in South Carolina, where a teacher was involved with SAN children. And that's not the first time that's happened. This story comes up, if it's more than once, or if it's just once, it's too often. But it comes up over and over again. So training and things of that nature, I guess, doesn't really filter out people with deviant behaviors, which I will think that if a situation, if certain things keep coming up, teachers preying on our children, that another process will be in place to help filter out people with psychological sicknesses and what have you. Now, I want to compare it to how police departments run their applicants. And even though there are many who pass the psychological test and get on the police force and do what we all know has been done, there is that psychological process is there. And I'm not sure if a psychological test or some type of evaluation is done for teachers or what have you. It's not foolproof, but it's another layer of protection that they can put in place to help detect people with these illnesses. And these children are already special needs, and now they have to have the anxiety of getting up every morning, knowing what they're about to face with no defense. That's a very daunting thought, to have to be there, to have to be brought there, knowing what you're about to face for the remainder of the day and what have you. Which Mrs. O brought up earlier, homeschooling. So that was an idea that came up while I was putting these stories together, is that one way of protecting our children from experiencing being essayed or mentally abused or physically abused in these institutions is to homeschool. And I also know that that's impractical for most families, because a lot of households are either single parent or both parents are working. That's the case more so than one of the parents being home with the children while the other one go out and do the earning and what have you. It's a idea that we all need to really consider, and it may require some lifestyle sacrifices. But having the latest or the updated whatever, is that more important than the welfare of your children? We all want the big house, we want the nice car, we want decent clothing, and what have you. If you take a realistic look at it, especially for two-parent households, if one spouse can handle that load and provide the needs and some wants, then maybe that's the better option. For the single family, for the single parents and what have you, you're subjected to this and what have you. So this went down in Delco, Pennsylvania. 20 people charged with abuse, child abuse. And they said 26 children were involved. That's a very daunting experience. Let's see what else we have on that. We got a 3-minute video. Okay, so yeah, we're gonna go ahead and check out this video right quick. It's on the same topic, a little bit more information.
This afternoon in Delaware County, where child abuse allegations are rocking a community. Good afternoon to you, everyone. We're also streaming live on CBS News Philadelphia. I'm Natasha Brown.
And I'm Siafa Lewis. 9 employees of Chester Community Charter School are accused of physically abusing more than 24 children. 11 are accused of allowing the abuse to continue. And our
Nikki Dementri hears from 2 mothers who say their kids were definitely affected by this. Good evening to you, Nikki.
Good evening to you both. Yesterday, we heard from the Delaware County District Attorney who said, quote, this case is every parent's worst nightmare. Well, tonight we're hearing from 2 mothers who are living that reality. And they both say that their children are a part of the 26 students enrolled here at the school that police say are victims in this case.
You cannot do this to people's kids. We're not sending them to school to be abused.
More than 24 children, according to the Delaware County District Attorney's Office, were physically abused at Chester Community Charter School. This mother, who does not want to be identified for fear of retaliation, says her 5-year-old son is one of them.
They put him in a chokehold. They pinched him.
The kindergartner was enrolled in the Team Approach to Achieving Academic Success program, which, according to the school's website, works with children, quote, facing unique academic and behavioral challenges. The district attorney's office says all 26 students were a part of this program.
That means y'all been harming 26 children, which y'all been harming 26 families.
Another mother, who also didn't want to be identified, says police called her in January.
I cried because my sons are little. Like, they're petite, they're little guys. They're only 7 and 8.
20 employees tied to the school are facing felony charges in connection with child abuse allegations. Court records show the abuse dates back to November of last year, and many of the incidents were caught on surveillance video.
So what I do now, I just question him every day when he come home. I just question him. He's very scared though, but I know I can't just leave him home. I gotta send him.
According to the district attorney and confirmed by a school spokesperson, many of the employees involved in the case worked for Peak Performers Staffing LLC. The school says that outside company, quote, were completely unqualified to manage children, adding they did not complete proper training. A spokesperson adds it's cooperating with investigators.
I'm supposed to be trusting y'all with my child.
So it's on record that these individuals were not qualified, that they didn't even complete the required training. So were the documents ever reviewed? Or were they falsified? The certificates, the certifications that need to be produced in order for, said employee, said teacher to perform the job. Now, I've looked into the non-emergency medical transportation industry and even onboarded with a broker. And so in the non-emergency transportation business, you're providing transportation for people who have that need to go to doctors, or people with medical conditions, medical disabilities that prevent them from transporting themselves. So you take them to doctor appointments. You take them to personal locations, either to another family's house or to the store. You transport these people to wherever they need to go. Okay, but these are people who have limitations. And part of the onboarding process, not only I, but any employee that I onboard has to go through a criminal background check, have to go through certain training. And this documentation has to be produced in order for them to qualify to transport these people. Okay, so and if I'm caught using an individual who has not been through the onboarding process or the vetting process, I can lose my contract. So things are in place to help protect those who cannot defend themselves and what have you. But I believe that people get cynical and callous in their day-to-day functions of their job and take any shortcut is the wrong shortcut, but they take the wrong shortcuts. They take the wrong shortcuts. They take the shortcuts that actually put people in situations that are not healthy for them. And what have you. So I hope these 20 individuals get everything that's coming to them. They get everything that's coming to them. We really need to entertain the notion, the idea of educating our own children. I strongly believe that. And which requires something that Mrs. O and I talk about, and the basis of our shows are about is the proper family structure. And the proper family structure is a mother and a father. And I strongly believe that the husband, the man, needs to go out and be the breadwinner while the mother is at home teaching the children. And that idea, that notion is biblically supported. To be in line with today's carnal idealism, either spouse needs to be the breadwinner and someone needs to be at home, preferably the mother at home and the husband providing. Reason being, there's other dynamics that come along with the proper order of things, which today's show is not really about. We're talking about the kids today. So we need to have some type of discipline, a plan. We need to accept that some luxuries we're not going to be able to have. For the men or for the spouse that are fortunate enough to have those positions where they can provide that, that's all well and good. Bravo for that. But for the majority of people who work jobs that are $50 an hour and under, there's going to have to be some type of sacrifice in regards to what you want as a lifestyle. If your children's well-being is omni-important. Because not only is the physical, mental, and the SA, the mental, physical abuse and the SA is going on. These schools are also incorporating idealisms that are against most of our moral fabric. They're having Transformers read books to our children while they're sitting on their laps. They're having them read books about Abel and Adam, or Lisa and Lynette conducting households, alternative partnerships, leading households. So they're incorporating idealisms at a very young age that should not be incorporated. And that's an indoctrination of a belief system that should not be part of the school curriculum. Just as there is a pushback against separating school and religion, on the flip side, you did the exact same thing, because that's another religion, that's another belief system. So you took out what most believe is a Christian belief out of the schools and replaced it with this sadistic belief. And what have you. Now, I'm against both said sadistic belief system and what most believe is the Christian belief system. And that goes into another topic in which we're not going into tonight. I'm trying to be as politically correct and secularly correct as possible to get the point across. But they replaced religion, and now they're incorporating, they replaced paganistic Christianity. They took that out of the school systems, and now they're replacing sadistic idealism, which is a religion. That's a religion. So they took one religion out and put another religion in. And then these kids are subjected to all these other forms of abuse. Not only that, they're not just subjected to abuse from the teachers and any other staff or faculty in the building. They're subjected to the peer pressures from other children. Now, we've all had to deal with that. And that just comes with, that's just a what I would describe a natural byproduct of leaving your front door. But to add what you already have to face leaving your front door and the addition of something that should not be there. You're already subjecting your kids to children who are not being raised in the same manner as your children, who are either bullies or manipulators. To get your children to submit one way or the other, or put them in fear on the playground, after class, after school let out. They got to deal with that chaos. Now they also got to deal with the faculty and the demons that are on them. What better way to take your children, to protect your children, than to create a situation where you can do the homeschooling. If this turns a light bulb in your head, I strongly suggest that you contact your state educational department and find out what you need to do in order to homeschool the kids so you can still be in compliance with the law. Because there are provisions for you to do so. So that might mean that you can't take a trip to Barbados, Cancun, or Disney World. It might mean that you have to drive a Tahoe instead of an Escalade. That might mean that you have to rock a Michael Kors instead of a Gucci. It might mean that. It might mean that you can only have 100 channels instead of 250 channels on your cable plan. It might mean that. But if you are at the parenting stage in your life, and that should be omni-important, and you brought these people into this world, they didn't ask to be here. So in my belief, you need to make the sacrifices necessary to protect them at all costs. So that's for the families that have both people in play. For the single family, for the single parent households, and what have you. I don't know, because I didn't do any research in regards to that, so I don't know if there's any programs out there and what have you for them to be tutored at home, or they can just do their assignments on a computer at home, you know what I'm saying, without you being there, or if they can take like some type of Zoom class or anything like that, something to where they can just log in and watch the teacher on the computer screen and do their assignments that way and what have you. But do your research, do your due diligence, and see if there are programs out there that can provide that type of service, provide that type of option. Because taking our kids to these traditional schools have in so many ways failed. Have in so many ways failed. All right, so now we're going to get into Claudia Batten. Claudia Batten, the update on this young lady, all right? Let's check it out.
Breaking news tonight here on News 12 Brooklyn. Thanks for being with us. I'm Amanda Bossard. After nearly 4 years, the case against Claudia Batten has come to a close with a verdict. News 12 Shakti Dennis was in the courtroom when the jury announced its decision and joins us now with that and more. Shakti.
Amanda, the jury deliberated for about 3 hours, and you could really feel the anticipation when they walked back into the courtroom and read their verdict. Guilty on all charges.
Something I needed to hear. This has been a hard road.
Emotions poured out of the courtroom as a jury found Claudia Batten guilty of murder and criminal possession of a weapon.
She didn't think about what she was doing, so now you have to pay.
4 years after 42-year-old Delia Johnson was shot execution style on a Crown Heights sidewalk, her family says they can finally begin to heal.
I need to just relax and close my eyes and sleep.
Despite telling video evidence, this outcome was far from certain. Defense attorney Jonathan Strauss spent weeks poking holes at the prosecution's case and maintaining Claudia's innocence.
First reaction is disappointment, as anyone's would be. We fought hard in this case.
But he admits a surprise witness, a longtime friend of both Delia and Claudia, who was there the night of the murder, dealt a major blow to the defense.
So that's the witness that we had no idea about until we were in the middle of the trial.
Two women who once called each other family, now forever divided by this verdict.
I'm sure she's devastated.
But my daughter's gone and she will never be able to come back. Claudia's gone. The difference is that she can call her children.
And Claudia Benton is set to be sentenced on May 1st. Until then, her defense attorney says he will review the trial for any mistakes and potentially demand a new trial. In downtown Brooklyn, Shakti Dennis, News 12 Brooklyn.
Now to a WSAZ investigation. Police say they believe she was being...
Breaking news tonight here on News 12 Brooklyn. Thanks for being with us. I'm Amanda Bossard. After nearly 4 years, the case against Claudia Banton has come to a close with a verdict. News 12 Shakti Dennis was in the courtroom when the jury announced its decision and joins us now with that and more. Shakti.
Amanda, the jury deliberated for about 3 hours, and you could really feel the anticipation when they walked back into the courtroom and read their verdict. Guilty on all charges.
Something I needed to hear. This has been a hard road.
Emotions poured out of the courtroom as a jury found Claudia Benton guilty of murder and criminal possession of a weapon.
She didn't think about what she was doing, so now you have to pay.
4 years after 42-year-old Delia Johnson was shot execution style on a Crown Heights sidewalk, her family says they can finally begin to heal.
I need to just relax.
All right. So Miss Claudia Banton found guilty. And finally that family has some type of closure. I was going over this story and what have you, and I was just reminded that they had to go all the way down to Florida. She had dipped out and went all the way down to Florida. And they found her in Florida and brought her back. Well, hey, over a dude. People. I know some people don't know that they're dealing with a married individual. But those who do know and they get caught up in the game, carnally in accordance to today's idealism that's not biblically sound. They get caught up in a situation innocently. And I'm using that word, I'm using innocently on a carnal level. Okay. If everyone was abiding by the law, statutes, and commandments, the shenanigans that we deal with wouldn't even be in existence. But for those who are knowingly being the mistress, being the cleanup man. You're putting yourself in a very unpredictable and dangerous situation. When the heart's involved, people do not react in a manner of much control in most cases. Of course, you know that, and then, you know, it's the notion of, well, I see it happen to everybody else, but it's not going to happen to me. And you can believe that you're that special snowflake if you want to. Stay out of other people's beds. Stay out of other people's beds. So I'm glad they went on ahead and Claudia Batten was found guilty, and that family can have closure and they can move on and what have you. And that's another Israelite family, Israelite union destroyed by way of adultery. We have to do better, folks. Have to do better. Have to do better. So it looks like we got a little time to get into this next article. I'm gonna play this article first. This was 2 years ago. This happened in Houston, Texas. And I'd like to give a shout out to A-Team for sending this article over for us to do a reaction on. Shout out to A-Team. And we're gonna check out this video. Here we go.
Tonight, a janitor in an East Houston medical building facing disgusting allegations. Police say an employee contracted an STD after the janitor allegedly relieved himself in her water bottle.
Now, she claims she caught him doing it on a spy camera after becoming suspicious. Jason Miles is live outside the building with new details for us. Jason?
Hey there, guys. Yeah, I'm told the janitor cleaned this building every night, and the case against him may already be growing. Late this afternoon, court documents revealed at least 11 more complainants, in addition to the lady I interviewed, coming forward.
Urine samples are part of the business in a family physician's office, but a longtime employee here who does not want to be identified never expected a sample in her personal water bottle.
I felt disgusted.
The alleged victim says she became suspicious after detecting a foul odor in water from a break room cooler, and even more alarmed when it appeared water left on her desk, mostly used to make coffee, appeared tainted as well.
I raised it to my face, smelled it, and it smelled like urine.
Suspicions eventually prompted her to place a spy cam at her desk, and these screenshots are from a video showing the suspect conducting his regular cleaning duties, but also violating her water bottle, something clearly shown in the full video.
I just picked it up, removed the cap, and proceeded to put his penis probably halfway into the bottle, and then he tilted it up so that his penis was surrounded by the water.
That video was part of the evidence used to charge 50-year-old janitor Lucio Diaz with, among other things, aggravated assault with a deadly weapon.
It's not an allegation. There's video proof.
Most disturbingly, according to attorney Kim Spurlock, is that her client, a 54-year-old mother of two, contracted herpes, for which Diaz also tested positive.
It's really just disgusting. And my client will suffer the consequences of this man's actions for the rest of her life.
Spurlock plans to file a civil suit against building management and others who she claims ignored her client's initial concerns. She isn't surprised there may be more alleged victims, given that Diaz told police, according to court records, he did it in other offices and that it was, quote, a sickness.
I hope he's punished. I hope that he gets, what he deserves.
And I reached out to the building's owner as well as the janitorial service for which Diaz worked. I haven't heard back from either. Meantime, I'm told Diaz is in the custody of immigration authorities, awaiting his first appearance in criminal court. Reporting live along the East Freeway.
That's absolutely nasty. Nasty motherfucker. Nasty. Nasty. Absolutely nasty. A sickness. This plain sickness. So that happened a couple years ago. So this is the update to what's going on.
So many jackpots. So many jackpots.
Wait for this commercial to be over with.
$1,000 plus $25 on the house. BetMGM Casino.
Well, now to the disturbing case of a janitor who is accused of infecting more than a dozen office workers with an incurable sexually transmitted disease. Those victims have filed a lawsuit against him. We told you about Lucio Diaz. He is charged with indecent assault and assault with a deadly weapon, accused of urinating in a woman's water bottle who eventually drank from it and tested positive for a disease. ABC 13 reporter Courtney Fisher is following this bizarre case. She is live with the details of the victim's lawsuit, and the numbers just keep going up, Courtney.
Yeah, Melanie, that's the story here, right? When our Jessica Willie broke this story back in October, we had just heard from one woman who said that she was angry, very upset, frustrated, because she says that she got this STD because Diaz urinated in her water bottle. Well, since October now, 12 more women have come forward, so that brings the total to 13 women saying this happened to them. And now they have all come together and are suing the building's management company, the building owner, the maintenance company, and the cleaning company that Lucio Diaz worked for. Their attorney says that the companies allowed Diaz to keep working as a janitor in the office building despite knowing that he allegedly gave them herpes. Diaz was caught on camera back in August appearing to urinate in a water bottle of one of these women. She had set up a hidden camera after suspecting something was wrong. The attorney says that the company managing the building didn't notify all the tenants of what was going on until 6 days after seeing that video. This, again, back in October, and the former janitor was charged with aggravated assault with a deadly weapon, that deadly weapon being his own urine.
All 13 of them need long-term treatment and care, and a lot of them need psychological care. I mean, this is not something that is going to go away. These are all professional women. They were all working. This happened in a work setting. Mm-hmm. So they need a lot of answers and they need accountability. The number that these women are going to need for their lifelong care is going to be determined by experts. As far as our petition is concerned, obviously we are seeking the maximum allowed under Texas law.
Which is?
It's above $1 million per claimant.
Well, back in October, the company managing the property did send us a statement saying, quote, "We were immediately cooperating with police as soon as they were made aware of the potential issue, and that police told them to, quote, not approach Diaz so that he could be arrested." Again, we have reached out to them since this lawsuit has been filed. We've got a reporter working this story later today. Much more. There will be a press conference this afternoon, and of course, we will be there. By the way, this attorney representing these women believes there are more victims out there, Melanie.
Boy, it just
For now,
keeps
reporting
getting
live downtown. Courtney Fisher, ABC 13 Eyewitness News.
just keeps getting stranger.
Well, seems like you gotta treat the office place like you do when you're in the club, when you out and about, when you're in an environment that's not home. Looks like you can't put your bottle down or your cup down and leave it on your desk and come back to it and be for sure that it wasn't tampered with. And what have you. No place is safe. No place is safe. Kind of brings to mind how we use, especially me and Mrs. O. It's been on my head for a minute, and what have you. It just this situation brings it up even more. How we use the DoorDash and what have you, you know what I'm saying? So it makes me leery of that. You know, the convenience, it's hard to not use the convenience, but man, the shit you subjecting yourself to. And the restaurants are doing better. They putting sealed tape on it and what have you, but there's still bags that, you know, people can easily use a needle to stick through and use it and put whatever they want in your food. So, and these are random people that, you know what I'm saying, that, I mean, everything's on electronic record and can be traced and what have you, but I mean, DoorDash and Uber Eats and things of that nature, those are even more uncontrolled environments than the office. And this happens in the office. So, people, no place is safe outside your home. So, this is a reminder to myself and everyone else to please act accordingly to your environments. Now you have to treat your workplace like you out and about. You sit your drink down, you leave your drink, don't pick that drink back up. Get you a fresh, brand new drink. You got any water bottles, a coffee cup, or what have you sitting at your desk, or what have you, go make some copies, use the restroom, talk to your manager, whatever. Talk to another colleague at their desk, you come back to it. It's hard to trust if that beverage hasn't been tampered with. Especially if you have people that's not working with you on a daily basis, or people that you haven't created some type of rapport with. Like this individual was a janitor, you know what I'm saying? So he come in, he do what he do, and I know from experience that the people that come in to clean, you know, it can be a cordial thing or what have you, but the dynamic is not the same as you having with your peers that you work with, that you team up with on different tasks and stuff. These people come in, they do their job. You say, hey, how's it going? They say, how's it going? And what have you. You know, they clean up the area, what have you. You say thank you, you know what I'm saying? They nod their head, they go on about their business. it's a different dynamic. So I don't know. Now you're gonna have to safeguard anything that you ingest on your table. You're gonna have to take care. You're gonna have to be on high alert with that now. That's ridiculous. The dude infected people with herpes. One of those things one of those gifts that keep on giving. And just think of the implications, the domino effect that this person created for some of these households. This man or this lady contracted herpes simplex, a genital herpes simplex at that. Now the partner of these people end up with sores. They check themselves out. Say that they're not doing nothing. They know for a fact they got it from you. You know what kind of families this sadistic act destroyed or had the possibility to destroy? Because you mad that you contracted this thing, so you want to spread it to everybody else. And that's another thing. I didn't even know that you can just give it to somebody with a urine sample. Up until now, I thought it had to be the person had to actually have experienced a breakout. And then you come in contact with that breakout, the virus gets on your skin and embeds itself into your micro cuts and stuff in your skin, and now you have it. It's in the urine. That's crazy. I didn't know that. That's crazy. It's in the urine. It's in the urine. That's scary. That's scary. You can just piss somebody's life away. Piss somebody's life away. We got Mrs. O. She said saliva too. Yep, saliva too. Saliva too. Saliva too. With herpes, with the monster. The viruses can be in the saliva. I know about the saliva, and I ain't know about the piss with the herpes. I ain't know about that one. That's crazy. Well, he was sentenced. And he's taken care of. Well, hey. So where you going? I double dog dare you to go piss in a cup. Fuck around and find out. Fuck around and find out. So now we're going to go ahead and get into, we're done with our articles for tonight. We're going to go ahead and get into the more entertaining parts of the show. We're going to get into the hot video and the health tidbit of this week's tidbit in health. Okay, but before we do that, Mrs. O got something to say to us. So we're going to go ahead and get into that. So go ahead, Mrs. O, do your thing.
Shalom, family. This is Mrs. O. Thank you for joining our channel. If you enjoy our content, please like, share, comment, and subscribe to our channel. If you would like to support our channel, you can do so by scanning the QR code to the Cash App or the PayPal in the lower left corner. We would greatly appreciate it. Enjoy the show.
That's right, folks. So we will greatly appreciate it if you like, share, and subscribe, and help push this podcast, this channel, and what have you. And if you if you enjoy the content that we're putting out, please help support the show. Use the QR code in the corner and what have you for the Cash App and what have you, and support the show. Now we're going to go into this week's Tidbit in Health. This week's Tidbit in Health goes into the side effects of using melatonin. And melatonin is something that I use regularly. Okay. So I was like, hey, well, I mean, I ain't really checked into it. What's the, everything has a positive and a negative to it. So what's the negative of melatonin? All right. So we're going to check it out.
Many people with trouble sleeping often turn to melatonin. They say that it helps.
What you may not know, the supplement has some potentially dangerous side effects, including low blood pressure. Usage has also been linked to anxiety and depression. ABC 3340's Austin Pratt spoke with a sleep specialist about the dangers and other things to try to help you sleep.
Some people are overdosing on melatonin and don't even realize it.
The amount of melatonin in the pill that you get is not always close to what's on the box.
Melatonin is a supplement and therefore is not regulated by the FDA. A study published in the Journal of Clinical Sleep Medicine looked at 31 melatonin supplements sold over the counter. It tracked the amount of dosage the product contained compared to what was advertised.
And what they found was that the actual melatonin content ranged from about 83% less than the dose on the box, all the way up to like 478% more than the dose on the box.
Side effects include headaches and dizziness, but also low blood pressure. That can be dangerous for people with certain health conditions or the elderly, potentially causing falls.
And if you happen to get the version of melatonin where it's 4 times the dose on the box, then you're more likely to have some of these side effects.
I asked people who use and do not use melatonin what they think of this information.
Well, I'm staged for kidney failure, and so low blood pressure for me not knowing it could be catastrophic.
Yeah, but if I'm got blood pressure and drop my blood pressure, I might have more than just a serious issue then. I might pass, I might die.
Anyone taking melatonin should check their container for the USP logo. Looks like that right there. USP is a medical nonprofit that tests supplements to ensure they contain the correct dosage as advertised. In Pelham, I'm Austin Pratt, ABC 3340 News.
Experts recommend behavioral changes for those having trouble sleeping instead of medicine or supplements, like shutting down electronics an hour before bed.
Okay, so but they didn't. What I didn't like is that they didn't go into, okay, what is the optimal dosage for melatonin supplements and what have you. So it was a pretty vague report. But it does bring awareness that melatonin can cause low blood pressure. Okay, and low blood pressure can lead to dizziness and actually fainting. Okay, so for those melatonin users, be careful. Okay, be careful with this stuff. It does have some adverse side effects. Okay. So we're going to step into Dr. Berg. Let me get his stuff up right quick. I want to make sure his stuff is up before I put him on, because we're trying not to use content creators like Dr. Berg so we don't catch a strike. All right, so we got that taken care of. We're gonna go ahead and switch the scene. Let's see here. Put up the fair statement. It's gonna cover him up a little bit, but not that bad. Here we go.
Hi guys, I want to talk about melatonin and the pineal gland, okay? A lot of people are taking melatonin for sleep, and what's interesting is that, yes, it does help sleep, but there's some drawbacks. Number one, the pineal gland inside the brain is an interesting gland because it contains optical tissue, like eye tissue. So it has receptors for light. There's a whole pathway where light enters the eye and it goes through a series of reactions that then end up in the pineal gland right here. So for physicians watching, I'll put down below the technical part of this so you can kind of study this if you're interested. But for everyone else, you don't need to know that. All you need to know is that the light turns off melatonin. Darkness stimulates melatonin. It's an on-off switch, okay? And it's in a feedback loop right here. The problem is that we're so exposed to fluorescent lighting, we don't go outside anymore, so it really throws off the circadian rhythms, the rhythms of sleep, because we don't get the appropriate melatonin. That's one problem right there. So the pineal is very sensitive to optical tissue. So the pineal has optical tissue and it does receive light. Now, here's the problem. When you take melatonin as a supplement, you're taking a hormone, and it may work initially, but what's going to happen, it's like a thermostat. You're going to give the pineal the hormones, so now it doesn't have to produce any more. So anytime you take a hormone, the gland that makes it stops making it because it doesn't need to anymore. So you're basically making the pineal gland go to sleep. That's the problem with long-term melatonin. I don't recommend taking melatonin because it's a hormone. And a lot of people don't know they're taking way too much. So you don't want to depend on that. Now, the other problem with the pineal is that it can become calcified, especially as we age. And it has a lot of receptors for calcium and fluoride. So when they do testing, they find that this thing is like filled with fluoride and calcium. And fluoride actually makes more soft tissue calcium. It makes spurring calcium deposits in the body if you have too much fluoride, and a calcified pineal gland. So a couple things that you need to do for the pineal. Number one, you want to make sure that you go for regular walks, okay, on a routine basis. You want to get out there. I know maybe some people go to the gym and work out, but it's really important to go outside in the light and spend some time every day. That's going to be important. And number two, when you go to bed at night, try not to watch TV until you fall asleep, because the light, you want it completely dark to start winding down and stimulating melatonin naturally. That's one thing. Number two, we want to avoid fluoride, okay? In the water, in the tap water, we want to avoid fluoride in the toothpaste, okay? So you want to avoid that and get a toothpaste without fluoride, because it can absorb and go into the pineal and create problems for you. The other thing is you want to take vitamin K2. Why? Because vitamin K2 handles soft tissue calcium. So it actually improves the calcification of the pineal. Make sure you take it with D3 together. I'll put some links down below. So that's my 2 cents on melatonin. So check it out and give me your comments below.
All right, folks. Dr. Berg says, when you take melatonin, when you take it as a supplement, your gland doesn't feel the need to produce. And over time, when you provide something for your body through supplements that your body naturally produces, your body will stop producing or slow down producing. And that can cause adverse effects. You know what I'm saying? That can make you dependent on the supplement. Okay. So be careful with the melatonin, people. It opened up my eyes to the use of it. And I found that I can go to sleep without it as well. It was a time where I wanted to be sleep longer and deeper. So yeah, I've been on the melatonin for years and what have you. So we're gonna work to get off the melatonin and so we can go to sleep naturally. So, and for those who decide to stay on the melatonin, talk to your doctor. Let them know what you're doing with the over-the-counter supplements that you're using and what have you. Check out Dr. Berg. Use ChatGPT. Use Google got an AI component to it as well. Do your research and weigh in the pros and the cons, the benefits, and if the benefits outweigh the side effects or what have you. You know what I'm saying? There's other ways to go about getting a better quality sleep. And what I have found in life experience, in which we're working to reincorporate that as well, is a good exercise regimen. Okay, so that will get you to sleep as well. So a lot of these supplements are not necessary. Most of the stuff that you need, you can get it in food and what have you. Your vegetation is a great source of vegetables. Your leafy greens, things of that nature. You can get that. You don't need these supplements to get that. Okay. All right. So now we're gonna get into that hot video. Get into that hot video. Let me set it up for you. All right, here we go.
Patiently waiting, but Satan came to me with a plan. I said, nah, man, better never see you again. My people in this land, and we're trying to get up out of it. Pharaoh wanna keep us still, serving in his bondage, and I'm sweating from the this heat. Need some shoes for my feet. Hands bloody from the work. Back bruised like a beast. I ain't ate in a week. 3 days, no sleep. My kid looking at me. Tell me, have you ever seen a 3-year-old pig in cotton? His body barely started walking. Their wife fainted on the floor. She pregnant and now she dying. I've been praying to the Lord. Please come save us from this bondage. Yeah, I know what we did. We guilty, Lord, and we sorry. Ellen, please, Lord, please. I ain't getting no ease. I've been slaving all day. Skin and bones start to cleave. Got nothing else to say. Just destroy the enemy. We strayed far away. Take us back, we'll never leave. Lord, please. This the Passover. This the final Passover. Yeah, it's almost all over. This the final Passover. The mighty forefather Moses came up the stream floating and not knowing that the Lord already had words spoken that one day he would come up under Pharaoh and learn all the ways of the Egyptians, including the Pharaoh. And he witnessed one of his brothers getting beaten in the back. And so he retaliated, got caught, hit the body and ran. And he returned 40 years later with some vengeance in mind. That he wasn't leaving the land without his people this time. So the Lord said to Pharaoh to reject the request to say no. So he told the people, kill a goat, put the blood on the post of your door. So the people waited and prayed the Lord's angels would go by. The Most High's fear and go in, shut your door, you better not come out. Now kill they firstborn, kill all they cross now. Now kill they cattle too. Most High just tear it down. Most High don't play with them. All to see they blood spilling. Look what they did to us. Please destroy all of them. Take their beauty all away and put them boils on their face. I fill the city with the frogs, death and curses to them all. Turn the water into blood and let the locusts have some fun. Hell falling from the sky, set on fire, let them fry. So much darkness in the land that you can't even see your hand. Heathen running in the streets, begging us to let them be. I'ma look the other way cause I got nothing else to say. We've been waiting for so long and we just wanna go home. Now grab everything you can cause now it's time to leave the land. And while the heathen let us leave, we gon' watch Moses part the sea. Making haste and moving fast, our armies coming from the back. Make all the waters fall and let the sea just drown them all. Hands to the heavens, prepare the lamb and the unleavened. Now count to 7 days that we can get to bless them. It's time to praise them. Now lift your hands up high and raise them. Blow up the trumpets. Now play the music loud and bump it. Here's for the moment, for all of yours that you have chosen. It's time to party. Got no idea what y'all just started. King David leaping, while all the harps and timbrels beating. Now I've been waiting the whole year for this. My soul been fainting. All praises to the Father for bringing us out of bondage. Never thought that I would finally be free till I left this body. Now take the lamb and bread and eat it with haste. Cause there's a better land waiting for us up out of this place. Now start closing your eyes and pretend to ascend to the sky. You feel the heat behind your neck from the nuclear fire. Let us pray, please, Heavenly Father, pass over this land. It's time to go home, so either you die or repent.
All right, boy, the last Passover. Hey, that's one of my new favorites. That's one of my new favorites. Expect for me to rock that again soon, for real. That one was hot. That one was hot. That one was hot. So today we talked about the children over in, I believe it was in South Carolina, that were SA'd, and the children over in suburban Philadelphia that were physically abused. And we know about numerous of stories where these teachers have taken advantage of our children. When are you going to take control of your children? Well-being. Ms. O had said something earlier She said, stop trusting everyone with your kids. And the issue is that we using these services that are in place because they can be a necessity for some situations, for a lot of situations. And in some situations, they're a convenience. And I'm speaking to those families that can afford alternatives. I'm speaking to those families that can absorb or can actually have some type of sacrifice. They can scale back some to provide a environment at home or a more secure environment for their children. This is not going to get any better, people. It's going to get worse. As I mentioned earlier in this program, that not only are our children dealing with being SA'd, MA'd, PA'd, but they also are they took out the pagan Christian doctrine out the schools, and now they're instituting a sadistic doctrine, introducing them to different realms of sexuality that is more of an influence than an education. When I was coming up in middle school, they taught about the reproductive organs and the use thereof. They didn't go into the act. They went into our body parts and what they did and what they were for. They're doing a little bit more than that now. And you have to go into more than that now in order to explain alternative lifestyles. You're planting a seed. Of deviant behavior. And if that goes against what you believe at home, what you're trying to implement into your children, that's another fight on your hands. Which way is up? The whole world is a ball of confusion now. Black is no longer black. Red is no longer red. Girl is no longer girl and boy is no longer boy. Everything is a mix of each other. Do you agree with that? And if you don't, what are you doing for your address to protect your values, to protect your beliefs? This has been Surreal Sundays, and this is Old School Exit 9. And as always, you are your brother and sister's keeper. And with that, peace.
Make sure you get in. Can't let your guard down. Better not let God down. You just can't back out, cause it getting hard now. You know you feel for this. Just might get killed for this. It's gonna pay off in the end. Just make sure you get in. It's your spirit warring with your flesh, trying to get the best of you. It's all in your head and in your mind. Can't let it mess with you. Trials and tribulation, that's every day. That's what we go through. Are you gonna face it? Stand up like a man. Tell me what you gonna do. No more complaining. Gotta walk blameless. Gotta be humble. You might not get famous. We go through changes. We go through phases. This my life story. Just flip the pages. Just keep enduring. Enduring, keep the law. Cause you don't want it call. You could've still been out here lost. Woke you up to the truth, so don't sleep on it at all. Try not to fall. Try hard to ball. Can't let your guard down. Better not let God down. You just can't back out, cause it getting hard now. You know you built for this. Just might get killed for this. It's gonna pay off in the end. Make sure you get in. Can't let your guard down. Better not let God down. You just can't back out, cause it getting hard now. You know you built for this. Just might get killed for this. It's gonna pay off in the end. Just make sure you get in.
I'm standing up, I'm standing tall, ain't laying down, cause I'm standing on it. Oppression make a grown man mad, make you cry, don't it? I pray to God that life so hard, so I'm calling on ya. I gotta endure until the end, I know they counting on me. Just got some bad news, damn, man, they killed my homie. Hit him 9 times, he never saw it coming. Remember the last time, I think I saw you, bruh. Gave you a fire with some knowledge, you didn't want it, bruh. Damn. I'm speak my mind, I'ma tell you the truth. It's hard on them, it's hard on us, it's hard on me, it's hard on you. I'm built for this, ain't equipped for this. Might get killed for this. I pray you repent before your time is up, your time
Can't
is
let your
spent.